lightlings, hybrids, and everyone in between. How are you? I am well today, and I saw a tag, and I was like, you know what? I've been working pretty hard lately. I would love to have a little bit of fun, so I decided to partake. Today we are going to do the spooky season tag, and this is created by, I believe, Lady Blind Wolf. I will link the video in the description. And we are going to get right into it because why not? It's what you're here for, right? And the prompts are super fun and cute and all about the season of the year. Our season. Spooky season. The season of all the girlies like me and the darklings of the world, where we can join forces and come together and rule. Sounds good though, right? I thought so. All right, so the first prompt is favorite Halloween or fall treat as a kid and as an adult. So as a kid, I absolutely loved candy apples. Not just any candy apples, it had to be the ones that my grandmother made. She was amazing at this. But she would do like your typical ones, and then she'd do like the green apples with the caramel. And she was just amazing at it. My grandmother loved holidays, especially spooky season. And she really did a good job with us as kids as bringing things like that to life. And her candy apples were legendary. And she'd give us a little warm cup of cider with it, and we'd watch horror movies. God, I miss her and love her, and I keep that tradition alive with my kids without the candy apples because I don't know how to make them. But you know what? Maybe this year we will. Maybe I'll vlog it. What do you think? Would you be interested in seeing that? It could be disastrous. It could turn out lovely. We'll find out. But my grandmother did used to say they were magic, and I believed her. All right, so as an adult, I am obsessed with pumpkin bread. I think pumpkin bread and pumpkin spice cobbler is amazing. Amazeballs triple dipped in awesome sauce, like literally. The stuff you sprinkle on this pumpkin bread is amazing, and I love it. I could probably eat about 3 loaves to myself. Number 2, favorite Halloween special. The only specials I'm aware of on Halloween, I know this might be talking about TV but I like the day after when you get everything for clearance and then you get your house decorations for the year, right? I mean, you with me? But besides that, I do love anything that they play horror, like the 30 Days of Halloween on certain channels and such. Number 3, favorite weird or old Halloween movie. Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas. Don't argue with me, it is not a Christmas movie, it is Halloween. And Trick or Treat. I love Trick or Treat. Number 4, best Halloween memory. So, my favorite Halloween memories is dressing my kids up and taking them out. And every year, like I was a single mom, I would hustle on them doubles, get my kids whatever most years. One year I was really struggling, and I was a medical professional, and I did not have enough money to go and get them all costumes at Spirit Halloween that year. And I had asked my boss, hey, can I kind of raid our supply closet? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. I told her what I wanted to do it for. So I went and I got surgical gowns and like certain, like the headwear and gloves. And we got the disposable stethoscopes and all. And I went and I made my kids look like an insane doctor. And one was a patient. And I crafted a straitjacket from things I had around the house. And it actually looked pretty cool. And then we put fake blood all over it. And if I can find the picture, I'll put it here for you. Let me know how I did. The next prompt is your worst Halloween memory. So I was about 5 years old, and my mom wasn't feeling well, so she had one of her friends take me trick-or-treating. And it started raining. It's New York. It's very cold around this time of the year. and I started really, really hurting. I remember my skin was burning. I was cold and wet, and I was crying to go home because when I would like take a step, my toes were burning, and the adults were kind of ignoring me. And by the time I got home, I had come down with hypothermia. And when I tell you, I saw the fear of the devil in my mother that night, whew, I never saw that woman again. I'm not insinuating anything, you're thinking it. But I never saw her again. The next prompt is Halloween rituals. So September to October, which it's already started for us, we watch scary movies nightly before bed. And I love decorating. Of course, I start decorating a little early if possible and financially possible. We decided to make it a new family tradition where we throw a small little Halloween party themed every year here. So that way the kids can bring their families and always come back once a year and we celebrate. This year we are doing slashers. I am going to be the one of the killers on The Strangers movie with the porcelain mask. One of my sons is Ghostface. Luke is going to be Jason, and the other two haven't decided yet. But anybody who comes has to be a classic slasher. And then we are going to literally go out to the park Halloween night, and we are going to play a live version of Dead by Daylight, which is an amazing game, by the way. Of course, I love pumpkin carving, and a tradition that's been in my family for a few generations is the pumpkin carving, setting them outside to light them up to honor the spirits, or I know in the old days it was scaring them away, but for us it was honoring them. And we would eat the pumpkin seeds after and baking them. They are so good, especially with a little salt on there. Spiritually, I like to light a fire and do a dance with the dead, is what I call it. That is where I invite all of my ancestors and all of the dead around me to gather around the flames, and we dance to honor them. The next prompt is your greatest phobia. It was spiders. I'm getting a little better with that, which is interesting. They still freak me out, but I'm getting better with it. Now, one that I have always carried, and it's still pretty bad, is I think they call it trichophobia, but holes. I can't do holes. My therapist said it's because I'm afraid I'm going to fall into a hole I can't get out of, but it's like the clusters of holes together. No, absolutely not. No. So the next prompt is a paranormal experience on Halloween. And I'm kind of like paranormal to a lot of people is normal for me daily. The dead are everywhere, or echoes of them. I do remember one on Halloween. Surprisingly, I haven't had like a whole lot of crazy stuff on Halloween. But one Halloween, I was young, and this was after my grandfather Terry and my uncle Dan had passed away. I was watching scary movies with my grandma, and we heard a knock at the door. I get up to go answer it, and my grandma's like, "Don't bother, it's okay, nobody's there." I opened the door, and nobody was there. And I kind of look at her, and she's like, "It was just your Grandpa Terry coming to check on us." And right when she said that, the TV shut off by itself. And Grandma explained to me that Grandpa Terry will knock randomly to check on us. So if I ever get a knock at the door, the TV shuts off. It's only him. My grandmother was a lot like me with seeing the dead. But anyway, now if I get a knock at the door, and it does happen every once in a while still, I'm always just like, "Hey, Grandpa Terry." Also, I don't know if this counts, but my dad passed away Samhain Eve. And I kind of thought that was crazy because It's my favorite time of the year, favorite holiday, right? My mother on Mother's Day in the UK, my dad on Samhain Eve, and then my grandmother on my son's birthday, which happened all in the same year. Strange. And when you add the numerology up, I forget what it was, but it all equals out to something. So yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother story. But the day after he passed, I was walking my dog on the land where he did live, and I go back up to go to the house, and I see him. I see him standing there on the porch outside, and it's like a gust of almost like mist. It wasn't really foggy, just kind of flies by him and he disappears. I know that sounds like a strange horror movie, but and then the wind kind of blows with it and blows past me. What's interesting about that is before my dad died and I seen him on his deathbed, he told me, Courtney, if you ever feel the wind near you, it's me. I want you to remember that. So that was pretty cool. The next prompt. Favorite horror, scary, or witchy book? Okay, so I have a whole lot of books that I love with these themes. Thanks a lot, military helicopters. God, what are they doing? They're up to something. Anyway, scary, horror, or witchy book. So, Penny Dreadfuls. Love them, like the original actual Penny Dreadful books. They're amazing. I am a huge fan of the show too. But Dorian Gray, Dracula, Frankenstein. And it isn't a Penny Dreadful, but I love the story of Hansel and Gretel. Like, from my childhood, I remember that being one of my favorite stories. And yeah, before you judge me, it is a horror story. I mean, think about it. Two kids are abandoned by their evil friggin' parents right in the middle of the forest twice, okay? They find their way back. But then these pieces of crap goes and abandons them all over again. And what do? Because they are starving and literally dying of hunger out in the middle of the woods. They stumble upon a witch's house made of food. So they take the candy and the sweets off the house, and the witch takes them in to fatten them up, and then they kill the witch because she was going to eat them. It's pretty dark for a kid, right? But for some reason it was read to me at bedtime. Yeah, so that's a freaking horror story. I don't care what you say. And you know what? I still love it to this day. Next, favorite kind of witchy book. I really do like the House of Night series. I know it's kind of a YA, but it was really good. It takes you into this whole other world and mixes like witches with vampires and a different kind of vampire that is magical based underneath of a goddess that marks and starts their transformation. I really enjoyed that series. And one I am reading now. It is called Devil's Deal, and this is based heavily for adults. It's a dark romance, and it is based heavily on a lot of Welsh folklore, which is so friggin' cool. And I'm sorry, the devil in it? You should read it. Scariest movie as a kid is next. My gram was making me watch horror movies like from my mother's womb. Okay, I am a cradle horror baby. And again, I know my grandmother, I'm making her legendary in this video, but it's true. I have her to thank for all my dark greatness, okay? But the point is, none have scared me, okay? Hellraiser. At 3 years old to 6 years old, nothing. Felt nothing, except cool. I really want to go in that labyrinth and maybe play with that box a little. The Exorcist. I freaking laughed. I laughed at 8 years old. Jason, Freddy, Night of the Demons, Psycho. All of them. Like, I've seen so many. So many. But one simple thing y'all are gonna laugh at me for in one movie when I was a kid got to me. one simple thing out of all of those horrible, awful, gory, demonic, crazy shit that I watched when I was little. One thing got to me. On a Halloween movie, I think it was 4 or 5, the one with the little girl Jamie, if you've seen it. And at the beginning, there is a scene, but not just any scene. It's a scene where she goes downstairs and you see it through her eyes. And she's like going down the hallway like this. And she sees her sister in the bathroom. And then she starts, eat, eat, eat. But that isn't what got me. What got me was the friggin' mask she was wearing. And I don't know why to this day. Why? Out of every single thing I had saw, okay? You're talking Hellraiser and The Exorcist. Some deemed like 2 of the worst. That didn't bother me. But you go to that scene, that mask. I could not look when I was a kid. I'd have to look away, and I don't know why. And you know what's even funnier? And you all are going to judge me. No kink shaming, but I have a fetish for scary masks on my men. And that was before dark romance, so yeah. I feel your judgments coming through the screen now. It's okay. It's okay. So, I know Lady Blindwolf mentioned this, but Pet Cemetery, when Gage, yeah, that part just made me sad. I'd cry. But the rest of it was amazing. The second one, though, that one dude, the bully, Clyde, who comes back, like when I think it was like half his face was melting or something like that. That too kind of made me whoa, you know. But Pet Cemetery 2 was a favorite of mine when I was a kid. Also, there's this scene in Alice, Sweet Alice. That's an old one. If you've seen that, leave me a comment because you're awesome. But yeah, there's a scene in there too that kind of got to me as a kid. Like, whoa, that just happened. So, yeah. Next, we have the worst scary movie ever seen. So, there's a lot of bad ones, like a lot of bad ones. And some of them I can mention for honorable mention reasons. You have Rest Stop, Highway to Hell, Hatchet, Texas Chainsaw Part 4. Ugh. But the worst for me, one of the absolute monstrosities of the horror world and genre, was Human Centipede Part 3. Yeah. The first one, the acting was horrible. But for like disgusting gore factor, I give it a pretty decent rating. I mean, it was creative too, in a weird way. But part 3 of the Human Centipede was a waste of film, time, space. A waste of the ethereal manifestation world that we all really could have done without. Next one, most frightening, Ghost Story. So, I don't have any favorites besides I did like Casper as a kid. And Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark. But I'll just tell you some of my experiences, right? You guys like that? Well, there are so many. I really don't know where to start. So I'll tell you a few of them that really impacted and stuck out to me. When I was around 12 or 13 years old, I thought that I had seen Lucifer, a beautiful man that had appeared to me during a dark stage of my youth. And after I had seen him at the time, I was really afraid. But after I had seen him, I started feeling like maybe Lucifer isn't the bad guy. And it made me think. And then shortly after, I started diving into the occult. So all through the majority of my teen years and childhood, my sister can verify this because she witnessed it too. So every single night I had 2 doors in my bedroom, one on each side of the walls. I'm hitting everything with this wand. I just wanted to wave it around because it's new and I got it and I thought it was cute. So, me. Anyway, throughout my childhood, I would go to bed at night and I would get knocks at my doors every night. Never failed. Okay, that's the knock. And I would not answer it because I answered it one time. And when I did, the blankets were pulled off of me from the foot of my bed when I was asleep. And after that, I wouldn't answer the knocks. I would also wake up with like bruises and stuff. So every night I would try at first to catch my sister as well because I thought she might have been the one messing with me and doing it. The night that I did open the door, the knock happens and I jolted open. And I'm like, where is she? Like, I'm going to catch that little, right? So I go on to her room and she's asleep, completely out, completely asleep. And I walk all the way back down the hallway and around because our hallway was like a giant L and I had two doors on each side. But one of them I shoved my dresser in front of because I don't know. I don't like that much access to me that I can't control. So I shut my door and that night the blankets came off of me. When I looked up, there was a huge shadow dude there. I mean tall. His head was at the ceiling and I freaked out and I ran back to my sister's room. I jumped in her bed and I'm shaking her. I'm like, get up, something's in my room. And she's like, what? Like not believing me, thinking I'm pulling her leg. And then we both hear footsteps coming down the hall. And we both at the same time look at the doorway because she didn't have a door on her room. And we see the tall figure walking right into the doorway and it stops. And it's like you could see its head, though there were no features. It was like all a shadow person. You see his head turn our way, turn back, and then continue on into the bathroom that was in that hallway. When I tell you we literally clung to each other and was like, what the hell? Yeah, after that I never answered the knocks on my door again. And I've seen that shadow person the majority of my childhood. And my sister says that sometimes she still sees it. So at night I am very weird about my door always being closed. Another memorable moment was I was getting ready for bed one night. My son Josh was still an infant, so I laid him in the crib to get him into bed. And I'm tired. I'm an exhausted mommy. I gotta work the next day. So I go in my room and lay down. Well, this particular night, I left the door open so I could hear the baby if he started crying because I was starting to train him to be in his own room in the crib instead of in mine. And it's dark and my bed's right in front of the door so I can see all the way down this long hallway into the living room. And I see this figure come into view at the end. It's a woman, okay? And I knew it was a very, very, we'll say low vibrational entity. You could tell by the appearance. She looked broken, cracked, scarred up, not well. Often, sometimes spirits appear to me in so many various ways, but it really tells me about the state that they could have been in or that they were in then. And I'm laying there and I'm like, oh God, I'm a little freaked out. But then this bitch just darts down the hallway and then stops right in front of my face. When I tell you I about peed myself right there in the bed and jolted back into my wall, yeah. Then she disappears. Sometimes spirits got jokes, man. I've also seen hellhounds. I have seen cemetery angel statues cry. I did a paranormal investigation with a team for the Rome Capitol Theater at one time, and I had read that property where there is a lot of spirits, certified haunted building in New York. And I had also done a reading on a trailer park there where I knew nothing of the history. I said there are so many dead people here and families in that trailer park were being afflicted with spiritual activity. So I go there and I'm reading the area and I'm like, oh, well, that is because there are graves right underneath this place that were not moved. What happened here? And they told me that it used to be a cemetery and they moved it over a bit down the road. And I told them, well, that's the problem. They literally did not move the graves either, and they built all of this on top of it. There's no way of getting out of that type of spiritual activity because it was already consecrated as their sacred space. However, there were things that I showed them that they could do, and that's for another video. All right, the next one, most memorable haunted house attraction. Haha, well, I've only been to 2 my whole life. I know, fascinating scenes that I am who I am. I'd love to go to more, but the first one I ever went to was with my mom. It was really, really great. And there was like The Exorcist. They had a woman behind bars thrashing in chains on the bed, and like they were really good actors. Halfway through, I was starting to really get creeped out. And our guide in front of us was dressed up, of course, wearing a mask. We all know how I feel about fear and masks. But he's like going around the corners and he's like kind of putting his face against the wall and going like this and like staring directly at me as he does it. And I told him several times, I'm like, don't jump out at me, dude. Please don't jump back around that corner and jump out at me. I warned him, okay? So it was not my fault. Like, F around and find out, right? What did dude do? Towards the end, jumped around the corner after turning it in front of us. And who was right there? Me. And who, accidentally on purpose, punched dude in the face? Me. I felt bad, but at the same time, it was memorable. Also, I went with Luke not long ago to a haunted house attraction, and it was amazing. It had everything there. Dolls, like crazy doctors in this whole medical setting you got to walk through, like where they were dismembering bodies. It had everything in there, and it was so, so good. So good. Next, in our final prompt is scary movies or books, I think, with tarot and oracle. I may be wrong on this one, but I assumed it was like decks you have that are related. And I have a few, and some I created my own, like my Silent Hill Oracle. And man, if I could get the licensing for this, oh my goodness, I swear it would make Konami big bucks, man, because they don't understand how amazing their work is. So they should really make a deck because, hello, it goes with the occult and the subconscious mind. But my Silent Hill Oracle deck, I created a bunch of character archetypes, the town like monster archetypes, legendary moments in the game, and each of them mean something. So each of them symbolize something that the characters and archetypes' unconscious mind created from their trauma or shadows. And I love it. Anyway, it's pretty horror themed, so I wanted to share it. This, if you don't know what it is, so another hole, go down, you have the option in the game. The main character keeps descending into dark holes, which symbolizes that alchemical second stage where you descend, right, into your shadow and abyss as he reclaims his repressed memories. Angela, she experienced the most trauma in the games, and different things symbolize her trauma, and she sees the world differently, which soon I have something special about this topic coming up, and I'm so excited for it. Right now, we're doing some research and deep diving into it and getting it all together, but I think it's amazing, and you guys would really enjoy hearing our perspective, and I'll announce who's helping me with it when we get closer to it. But I'm so excited. Next is a bit more this theme probably, and that is the horror tarot. So I have a couple of these. I also have like the Monsters Universe tarot, and a lot of like darker decks. I want every horror themed. I know there's a slasher one out, and I've got to have that soon too. So yeah, but this is a really cool deck. I love it. I know I really showed you great there, didn't I? I'm only going to do a couple, but very, very dark themed. And I do love this deck so very much. Very vintagey, very my style, my taste. Very, very juicy, I like to call it, darling. Yes. Ooh, and who is this? Handsome Mom as the Emperor. I don't know what accent that was. Just go with it, okay? But yeah, so, well, I had so much fun doing this tag, really. I got to let loose a little bit with you guys, just be me and have fun, because I'm going to announce that I am creating a Patreon, and I've been putting a whole lot of work behind the scenes into it, and I am going to do a video about it, telling you guys what is on there and why you should be interested, and I'm really excited. Really excited. It feels almost like I found my drive again, my passion for something that is really important to me and that I could be sharing with some of my viewers who are interested as well and like-minded and may want to do this with me. And it's nothing that I'm teaching you. We are doing it together. I just have a lot of knowledge that I am sharing, but I'm going to utilize it with others who are interested, along with other behind the scenes stuff and grimoire pages. Who knows what I'm going to do over there, because I have many ideas. But thank you guys so much for being here, watching, supporting. Hype that shit up, please. Really, hype it up, guys. Let's get the views and all going. Please, please. I love you. Anyway, yeah, that was desperate and pathetic. But I will see you soon.